around rampant with other women. That's not the kinds of, when I say more than one woman relationship, I mean that before we came to America, our men had more than one wife and family. And we were satisfied with it because we had not met the monogamy idea. We had not met the American white woman who, insists on certain kinds of values in her man. We had not learned envy and jealousy. All right.
Now, that is the greatest statement ever.
After coming here, those kinds of ideas were bred into us because of society and the mores that the Americans made up here. And so then we started to have problems with that. But I think that since it is apparent that most of them, not all of them, it's certainly up to the man, do love more than one woman. I got tons of mail. A lot of black men write and tell me that they have had two women for 5, 10, 15, and 20 years, and they can't even get the women to speak to each other. Sometimes they have two families.
Would I want to talk to a woman who's sharing perhaps the bed and the money and the social life with who I would deem as my man?
If you want to deal in reality, and if you are not insecure, and if you don't think that robs you of something, you would want to know them. If he loves her, you certainly should want to know her.
There are a lot of black women out there who say,
I know they're mad about that idea.
All right, quick history on the Native Americans. It say plural wives and the Plain Indians. Multiple marriages made sense to many Lakotas, but not to the government in Washington, the so-called white man. Now, let's see here. Okay. Where is it? It was like the third paragraph down. Okay. There it is. It say plural marriage was somewhere between an exception and a rule among the Plains Indian tribe. Plenty of chiefs and warriors, such as the respected Lakota leader Red Cloud, had one wife. Many had 2 or 3, and some had as many as 7. See, some had as many as 7. Look at the next paragraph. It says plural wives were not harem slaves as some whites fantasize. See, the so-called white men, they want to push to the people and the women that you're going to be a slave to this man. He like his slave. He can do whatever he want to do, and you can't tell him what to do. That's how they dress up being submissive to a man, being under a man, under the authority of a man. They push that vibe and that fantasy to these women. Now we got another situation going on, because this was not, what did they say? They said it was a exception to the rule among the tribes. Okay, respected involvement, how they worded the thing. They said it seemed reasonable. I think they said it seemed reasonable. It made sense. Okay, it said it made sense to the tribes, but it was bigger than it made sense. Look at here. The Native American that was here. Let's see who was these Native Americans. Who was these Native Americans? And what did they know? Okay, Mexico, Stone. Let's get it. What did these people know? Okay, New Mexico, Las Lunas, New Mexico. They say the first mention of the Stones in 1933. Okay. It says At the time, it was covered with lynching and plantation plantation and was hardly visible. He claimed that it was taken to the site by a guy who claimed he had seen it as a boy back in the 1880s. See, now that law about the multiple wives happened in the 1860s. It says back in the 1880s. It said, however, Hyben's testimony is tainted by charges that in at least two separate incidents he fabricated some or all of his archaeological data to support his pre-Clovis migration theory. He said the reported 1880s date of discovery is important to those who believe that the stone is pre-Columbian. However, the Paleo Hebrew script, which is closely related to the Phoenician script, was known to scholars by at least 1870, thus not precluding the possibility of a modern hoax. Now, anyhow, Paleo Hebrew was on the stone around about this time that these Native Americans was roaming. And what did they have on them? They had the Ten Commandments. They had the commandments. These people knew the laws of God. Now let's go into the law of God. See, let's go into this law and see what did the Native Americans understand. Let's get Exodus. It says, if he take him another wife, her food, her raiment, her duty of marriage shall he not diminish. So they knew in the law of Moses that was given to him by God, you can take you another wife in the law. Not the law of the so-called white man, but the law of God. 15. If a man have two wives, one beloved and another hated, and they have borne him children both. So I'm not gonna go into all of that. This is talking about inheritance. But if he have two wives, that means he done got him two women. Okay, let's go into some of these other ones. We know King David and King Solomon had multiple wives. King Solomon had up to 1,000. King David had many, many. Let's get Chronicle. Okay. Here we go. What, Chronicles 11, chapter 11, verse 21. Rehoboam loved Machiah, the daughter of Absalom, above all his wives and his concubines, for he took 18 wives. Okay. Look at Abijah, waxed mighty, married 14 wives, and beget 20. All of this under the Mosaic law. All of this under the Mosaic law. The Indians was said that some of the chiefs and peoples had one wife, but it was a lot of them had 5, and set up to 7 wives. So these individuals, when the so-called white man hit the scene, the American government, Washington, said, no, we not gonna let y'all do this, and they had to comply, because if they wouldn't have complied, these dragons would have came in there and wiped out their whole nation, killed everybody. And these people was going by the Mosaic law. See, this is the insanity of America. This is the corruption and the wickedness of America. To go in there and tell them people to send their other wives away and police them to the fact that you had to do it or they'll come kill everybody. See, because they didn't want that to get back to the tribe of Judah, They was flooding this place with the tribe of Judah in these darn cotton field, and they didn't want that word to get out to them that these Indians is following the Mosaic law, and they got multiple wives under the Mosaic law. And these Indians know that they go back to Issachar, Reuben, and Gad. They did not want the tribe of Judah to understand that, because these people in Germany, they was wise and they knew the whole law. They had studied the law and studied the records of the Israelites. That's why they was calling themselves Jews at the time. So I'm gonna leave it there. Just showing how these people. Oh, let me get to Isaiah. I keep forgetting to throw Isaiah in my mixture of these laws. This is what's gonna happen in the future. Either in the kingdom or right before the kingdom. It says, in that day 7 women shall take hold of one man, saying, we will eat our own bread, and with our own apparel, only let us be called by your name, to take away our reproach. See, this is what is going to happen at the end of the day. No matter what these dragons come up with and say. And in Hebrews 8 and 8 through 10, on down, it tells you that in the kingdom, it's going to be, the law is going to be put in our minds and our hearts. So we're going to be practicing these laws in the kingdom of Israel. See? And every other nation is going to have to practice these laws, because we're going to be, let's go back. Look at here. It says, all nations shall flow unto it, and many people shall go up and say. See? Many people going to go to the mountain of the Lord, which is the house of Jacob, which is the kingdom of Israel. And it says, for out of Zion shall go forth the law and the word of the Lord from Jerusalem. See, the Israelites going to be giving out this same law to these heathen nations, and they going to have to follow this law. And you ain't not going to have no one woman law in the scene. You can have one woman, but you can have many women you want. And no women ain't gonna have no power over no man to tell him what to do. But I'm gonna leave it there. All praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah, Ba'ashem Rekakadah, stuff honor to the elders pushing the truth, peace to the elect worldwide, the blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans, descendants of slaves scattered around the globe. Our kingdom is at hand. Shalom.